How's it going, troops? In today's video, we're going to be looking at the record number of illegal migrants who have crossed the English Channel yesterday and over the last 7 days, and also discussing the possible deal that Labour may be doing with France, where they will be turning asylum seekers back to France in exchange for those ones that may have possible valid claims. Also, we're going to discuss my thoughts on how we can put a better deterrent out to stop these illegal crossings. I'm Craig, a former British soldier. Thank you for clicking on this video. I appreciate all of you who have viewed, liked, shared and subscribed, and a big shout out to all of our channel members. Thank you for all of you of your continued support, and if you want to support the channel in other ways, then head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk, check out our t-shirts, our amazing coffee, and if you want some of the best supplements on the market that are 100% military safe, head over to combatfuel.co.uk, and they provide best supplements on the market. But let's get into today's video then. So I want to show you some numbers. So we've got this from GB News, and some of you will be like, don't always listen to GB News. I've done my research, I've checked across multiple news outlets and journalists, and they're all coming up with the same number, and I'm going to prove that number to you why GB News isn't lying. But it says an absolute disaster for Labour. Migrant channel crossings hit record high for this year in damming development. For Keir Starmer's smashed against plan. We know his plan is not working. A record number of small boats migrants are set to cross the English Channel on Tuesday, just days after the largest number this year made the illegal journey. The provisional figures show around 700 migrants arrived in the UK waters today, surpassing the previous one-day record of 656, which was about 4 or 5 days ago. That brings the total to nearly 9,000 for 2025 alone, and we're only in the middle of April. That's a 40% higher increase on last year, where there was only 6,265. And if you go over to the government website here, which I have done yesterday, 15th of April, provisional figures show 705 migrants crossed the English Channel with 12 boats. 12 boats in a single day. Bearing in mind, weather's been good, but it's not been amazing. We've got better weather to come. 14th of April, 119 with 2 boats. 12th of April, like I said a few days ago, 656 with 11 boats, and 180 on the 11th of April. For that last 7 days, that's 1,660 migrant crossings with roughly 28 boat crossings in a single week. We've got 52 weeks in a year, and I know obviously a lot of that, especially in the winter time, boats don't cross. But say you did that over a 26-week year, so half the year, that would bring out at 43,000 illegal migrants on average would cross in a single year. Do that over 10 years, that's over 430,000. Obviously, numbers are increasing year on year since the records have begun, and since these crossings have begun in 2018, they continue to get higher and higher. You could be talking in 10 years, well over 1 million. Can the UK sustain this? That's why I'm doing these videos, and I'm going to give my knowledge and my experience from the British Army on how I think we can deter this. Secondly, Labour are talking about doing a possible deal with France. So what this means is for the asylum seekers, the illegal ones that enter the country illegally, they come to the UK from France. What they're looking at possibly doing is for every valid claim that gets sent back to the UK, France. So when they go back, this is from my understanding, they go back. If there's a valid claim, they will take one person back for every person they sent back. It's like a 1-for-1 swap. So for these valid claims could be someone that's actually coming across and they've got family in the UK, but they haven't come across legally. I think if you come across illegally, my personal opinion, you have no rights to a claim asylum, even if you've got family in the UK. And secondly, that still doesn't deter. They think this is going to be a deterrent, because it's not. All they're going to do is they're still going to make the crossings, and then they're just going to find out when they get here that they haven't got a valid claim, and they're going to get sent back. Also, we're struggling with the amount of numbers coming in. The UK can't handle it. The NHS can't handle it. Public services such as the police, the fire brigade to support as many people can't handle it. Our economy, our housing. We've got so many homeless, just general population and homeless veterans on the street. We cannot handle more and more people coming into the UK. They can't build the houses quick enough. They're trying to, but they can't. So actually what we need to do, it's not about whether they've got a valid claim or not. We just need to put a massive deterrence in to stop the amount of people coming into the UK, just because at the minute it's not sustainable. We need to get ourselves back on our feet, get our economy back on our feet, get our housing sorted, get the British people, the UK people, English, Scottish, Welsh and Irish people sorted first, so we are sustainable. Sort this cost of living crisis out, sort the NHS out, the police out, the fire service out, etc., before we start taking any more on. That's my personal opinion anyway on that. Right, the answer to this is not violence. We are not inciting violence, and we never should incite violence. It's about putting in a deterrent to say, coming to the UK is going to be no better for you. The government are trying to bring in possible plans for this. One of the issues you've got is obviously once a boat enters the water in France, French law says there's nothing they can do about that boat unless those people are in distress, then they can help them. So they've got to try and basically the gangs are coming in from the sand dunes, quickly running the boats into the water, and then they're driving the boats close to the shore. The illegal migrants basically run into the water and jump into the boat, and there's nothing the French police can do. There is videos out there of the French police, the French border force, stabbing the boats before the migrants get in, because they can do that. But once the migrants are in and they're off, there's nothing they can do about that. I have read somewhere that France are looking to possibly change this law, which would literally make sense. There's something they need to do about that. But I've spoken in a previous video about bringing in the British Army, the Royal Navy, etc., making an actual unit that deals with and works alongside the border force, knows the legal system inside and out. We should have people on the beaches doing patrols, surveillance, reconnaissance. We should have boats out in the water. We should have military personnel on the beach just as a deterrent. If you've got military out on patrol with weapon systems, in my personal opinion, that could be a deterrent from people crossing. And also, if we have the reconnaissance scanning the shoreline, especially over in France, you come and see these boats that are coming in. You basically intercept the boats before they can get to the migrants, before they can run out into the water. So instead of spending all this money on absolute rubbish and sending it to other countries, why not spend the money on building a unit that works alongside the Marines, because they've got their own jobs, so the Navy, an actual border force that patrols our borders along with the French border. So when you see these gangs, these traffickers running out with the boat, you can then spring upon them like a little SF unit, doing a sort of direct raid, some sort of direct action. And basically when the boats enter the water, you quickly intercept the gangs before the migrants can come into the water. Why are we not intercepting these boats on the French shores? Why are we not working alongside the French? Why are we not having deterrents on our borders to say, hang on, that there's the military there. When I drive up to there, that's not what I want to see, because I want to enter the country. That's what we need. But that's not how our government works or thinks, is it? But yeah, we have hit a record high numbers, and we need to put a stop to this. But that is what I believe we should do. British military border force unit, and the reason I said this, you can watch the previous video, it's basically because they know the humanitarian rights, they know legal system, they can make the arrests, as a British soldier cannot do that. They are more there in support of the border force, but we need to actually patrol our borders. We need to intercept the boats before the migrants can make it into the boats, and we need to have stricter laws on when they come in. When you arrive in these illegal boats, you're just going to be arrested. You're going to be sent to a detention centre, a holding room, and you're going to be sent back. There is no legal aid. There is no, you're going to get a lawyer to fight this. You enter the country illegally, you go back. If you fly in through an airport, you come in legally and you ask to claim asylum, fair enough. You cross a boat, this should be the law. You cross by boat, you come in illegally, you don't come through a port, you don't come through an airport. You'll be arrested on site. You'll be taken to a holding room. You'll be flown back to your country, or a safer country. You've entered illegally. That's my personal opinion. But the main thing, big deterrence, intercept the boats before the migrants can get into them, attack the gangs that way. I don't see that happening. Keir Starmer's going, we're going to attack the gains, we're going to attack the gains. But the boats are still coming in record numbers. What's he doing? I think it's common sense. I don't know if it's because I've been in the military, but you patrol the shores, surveillance, reconnaissance, work out their routes in and out, where they're coming from, where they're bringing these boats from. As soon as they enter water, bam, snatch and grab. Easy as that. That's my thoughts anyway. Thank you for watching. This is Combat Ready HQ. I'm Craig Holman, and I'll see you soon.